yeah, thank you so much. And now it's time for Maulik. Maulik, requesting you to please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Greetings, everyone. My name is Molly Bansal. I'm from Modern School, Delhi. As an Act Now volunteer, I want to promote sustainability by transportation. As we all know, diesels and petrol cause a lot of pollution. So there are alternative forms of transport that consume less or no gas oil. For example, we can walk or ride a bicycle whenever possible. We won't cause any pollution or consume natural resources only. If that isn't an option, we can consider organizing carpools or public transportation. Replacing car trips with public transport reduces road congestion and overall amount of gas oil is also reduced. If we need to use a car, we can choose fuel efficient or hybrid or electric vehicles. We should also regularly maintain our vehicle to ensure optimal fuel efficiency. And many buses in major of the cities operate diesel electric hybrid buses which reduce harmful emissions. So we should also act now. Thank you.
Thank you, Maulik. Thank you for your words. And definitely, we are trying to act now. And yeah, next we have Nandika. Sorry, Nandika, are you ready? Perfect. So, Nandika, please start with your speech.
Greetings to everyone. Today, I, Nandika Angrish from Brookfield International School, would like to put forth my viewpoint on sustainable fashion. First, for the ones who do not know what sustainable fashion is, it refers to the use of sustainable clothing, which uses biodegradable components from natural or recycled fibers like cotton, linen, wool, hemp, etc. These materials grow with no pesticides or fertilizer use, consume less energy and water, employ no chemical treatment, thus reducing the overall carbon footprint. This is not only good for the environment, but also improves social and economic conditions for the workers involved in the industry. But how does the sustainable fashion help, or why does it even matter? Sustainable fashion saves natural resources, it saves animal lives, requires less water, reduces carbon footprint, supports fair and safe working conditions, healthy for the people and the planet, teaches how to love our clothes again, produces less waste, and can be used in landfills. Well, now I would like to tell you what I do to promote sustainable fashion. I swap clothes with my sister. Mostly I take hers. Jokes apart, I support brands like H&M who promote sustainable fashion. Their schemes wherein we can return our old or pre-loved clothes and get a certain discount on the purchase of new clothes. And my family also buys clothes from sustainable brands like Khadi, Fab India, etc. I also encourage donating the pre-loved clothes to the poor and needy so that together we can make the earth a more beautiful place for living. 4 Rs in case of sustainable fashion are rewear, repurpose, regenerate, and reconnect. With this, I would like to consider that maybe you have learned something from me, and I sure will learn something from you, and we all must act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nandika. Definitely, it was really insightful. And to share the experience, recently I have donated my old clothes in H&M, and it's really exciting, because they actually give you a discount, and according to the number of clothes that you're donating. Yes, the clothes were in a good condition, and but yes, it is really good that brands like big brands which are trending, and which are trending among youngsters, they are promoting such things, such activities. It gives them, it motivates them to all the young people to donate more. And it is really a good experience, a first hand experience that I've had recently. So thank you. Yeah, thank you, Anandika. It is a true thing that you were sharing. So all right, next we have Nandini. Nandini, may I please ask you to unmute yourself? Thank you. Hello, Nandini, and yeah, you can definitely start by sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. We are the first generation that has a clear picture of the value of nature and our impact on it. We may be the last that can take action to reverse this trend. Greetings all. I'm Nandini Kumar from the Modern School ECNCR. And today, the major topic of my discussion is illegal wildlife trade, which is commonly known as poaching. Animal poaching has a bigger price tag than the trophy sitting on the shelf. Inhumane destruction is causing iconic animals of many continents and of our oceans to become endangered or even extinct. Poaching is not only morally wrong, but also illegal. It is altogether a big issue, and it should be ended entirely because it endangers the targeted species being hunted. Poaching is a huge threat to our vast biodiversity. This major problem comes under the SDG 15, which is Life on Land, which focuses on protecting, restoring, and promoting sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably managing forests, and halt and reverse land degradation. It's been a major problem for years now. So our government in 1972, under the Wildlife Protection Act, prohibited the illegal capturing, killing, and buying and selling of animals and animal parts. Surprisingly, according to statistics by Center for Biological Diversity, 30,000 species are driven to extinction annually. Well, I believe that a problem always comes with a solution. Here are some ways by which poaching can come to an end. Number one, enforcement or stricter laws is urgently required. Number two, as children, whatever we learn is what we imply in our lives. So educating about poaching at a tender age is equally important. Third, we can also fit in tracking devices in animals, having anti-poaching units on the ground, monitoring them actively. So let's act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nandini. It was really nice. And next we are going to have a short video. Just one moment. I request the technical team to play video V21.
I'm your 2022 Miss Earth Korea, Mina Soo Choi. I am 23 years old, studying communications at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I'm a proud Korean, and I hope to use my unique experiences to creatively inspire others and constantly challenge the status quo. The country I represent, Korea, is known for its rich, dynamic culture, the history of passionate fighters, and for the beautiful landscapes. The Korean peninsula is full of mountains and streams. You can even find nature's beauty in cities. Just in the heart of the city, Seoul, you can pay a visit to the nearest park, Han River, and watch the sleepless skylines. I love to ride Seoul's public bike to commute around the city of Seoul. This bike rental system was designed to resolve issues of traffic congestion by promoting alternative forms of transportation, to reduce carbon dioxide emission, and to promote the national vision, low carbon, green growth. There is a memory that places deep in my heart. One day, I remember looking up at the stars and having a moment of epiphany. It was this sudden realization of the obvious that when you look up at the night sky, we are all looking at the same exact sky and the same stars. Even when I'm in Korea or elsewhere or wherever you may be, despite the differences we share in values, culture, experiences, it is still the very same planet Earth that we live together. There's no doubt or denial in the fact that human activities and exploitations have had detrimental effects on Earth. Lives have been taken away, threatened, and now our homes will be taken away if we do not take the responsibility to better our actions. But in order to act first, we must first understand on a personal level how the issue of climate change and the environment may affect our very own lives. I believe that we share the responsibility to protect and to save our Earth, home, where our loved ones are at and where our hearts are at. I am Mina Soo Choi, and I am a woman of the Earth.
Listen to her voice, singing in the wind. Feel her gentle touch in the golden sunlight. She was born to love, kiss our tears away, vanish all our fears, fill the world with joy. She's the woman of the earth, spreading love and joy, fun and laughter. Woman of the earth, making miracles forever after. Loving, caring, working, sharing, teaching, singing, mothering. See her loving glow in a blushing flower. Watch her dreams take wings over skies so blue. She will save the earth and its every glory. She will teach her child every golden story. She's the woman of the earth, spreading love and joy, fun and laughter. Woman of the earth, making miracles forever after. Loving, caring, working, sharing, teaching, singing, mothering. Woman of the earth. Woman of the earth. Woman of the earth.
Our oceans are drowning in plastic, waste, chemicals, and other pollutants. 80% of marine pollution originates on land from farms, cities, and factories. Marine debris, particularly plastic, is blown in through our winds or washed in through our drains. In our oceans, there is more plastic than fish. 8 million metric tons. That is how much plastic is dumped into our oceans each year. That's about 17.6 billion pounds. By 2050, plastic will outweigh our ocean's aquatic life. Think about that the next time plastic is improperly disposed. In your future, would you wish to swim among the beauty and the brilliance of aquatic life? Or would you rather swim surrounded by plastic?
Spreading love and joy, fun and laughter. Woman of the earth, making miracles forever after.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, I believe the students who attended Miss Earth's session, she is also just 24 years old, she shared, and it was really nice and insightful to have her. All right, next we have Pankhudi. Pankhudi, are you there? Please unmute yourself. Yeah. Pankhudi, I hope you have unmuted yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Perfect. All right, Pankuri, please, we are all excited and ready to hear your thoughts on this World Environment Day. So please, the stage is all yours.
Good evening, one and all present here today. I am Pankudi from the Modern School Delhi and I am an ACNO member. So my idea for this meeting is to provide food and day by day it's becoming a huge problem. According to my commitment, on every Tuesday I make homemade food and go nearby the road and distribute it to the needy people who are begging to earn some money to eat something or feed their family. After doing this, I get mental peace that at least I can fulfill one family's stomach on a day. Now, I would say if I'm doing Tuesday, someone else might be doing Monday or Wednesday. And while researching on this one, I got to know that I'm fulfilling one of the SDG goals. That is goal number 2, zero hunger. Now, I would like to ask you a question. Would you join me? I hope you have learned something from me, and surely I learned something from you. And together, we can act now. Feed a child, feed the future. Thank you everyone for listening to me. That's all I got.
Thank you so much, Pankuri. Definitely, it's a huge thing that you're doing. Making food for poor, and then if you do it every Tuesday, definitely I understand that apart from school, tuition, studies here and there, if you're making out time to donate it, I really appreciate the effort that you're taking. And yes, we all, some way or the other, trying to contribute to the environment. And yes, before we move to the next student, I would, yes, I'm a little, actually 40 minutes late, but I would like to wish you all a happy World Environment Day, which is on 5th of June, which is today. We have just changed the date. And yes, the pro event has been running successfully for 12 hours now, 12 hours and 40 minutes. So congratulations and kudos to all the students, all the teachers, all the facilitators who were there. And yeah, we have 12 hours more to go. So a very happy World Environment Day from the fraternity, from me to you, you to me, and to each and everyone in the meeting, watching us, listening to us. So yes, let's make it a better place for you, for me, and for the entire universe. With this note, I have the next student with me, Saina from the Modern School. So Saina, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am, am I audible?
Perfectly audible.
Greetings, everyone. I am Saina from 9th grade, the Modern School Delhi, ECNCR. Today, I want to talk about zero hunger, which is the second SDG. So, this goal is an interconnected issue of poverty and inequality. Though the government is trying their best to provide nutritious meals free of cost to the families suffering from hunger, but still many families are left starving. So, what we on our behalf can do is support local food producers, provide meals to the affected families on any special occasion like someone's birthday in your family. We can give away food instead of going out on fancy dinners or partying. We can do this tiny contribution. Next is understand the food labeling. There is a big difference between best before and use by dates, as many times the food is still safe to eat after the best before date, whereas it is the use by date which tells you when it's no longer safe to eat. But just due to this minor misunderstanding, we throw away food and waste it unintentionally. Thank you.
So basically, Saina, what you are trying to tell me is that there are two kinds of dates mentioned.
Yes,
Okay, so one is best before. Could you explain and elaborate? What is it?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one is best before date and one is used by date. So, like there are dates that when it says that you can use this item like it's best before this particular date,
Okay.
but many times it is still safe to eat after it. But it is actually the use by date which particularly tells you that you can no longer eat it after this particular date.
Okay, very insightful. Something again, many of us, honestly, I got to know this. I also used to avoid it. I got to know this, know about this few years back. And yes, it's a small detail, and actually, many of us we tend to forget it, and we just go by the best before date. So thank you so much. It was really, really helpful, insightful, and something that we do on a daily basis, right? So yeah, Thank you so much, thank you so much, Saina. And next, I would call Sana to unmute herself. Yes, Sana, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Should I start? Okay. Greetings of the day to everyone. Today I, Sana Chopra, from Modern School ECNCR Delhi, an ACNO volunteer, is here to share my idea with you all. But before sharing my idea, I have a little question for you all. Do you know how much waste you create from the lunch that we carry to our schools and offices? We don't, right? According to research, lunch boxes generate more than 60 million pounds of plastic waste every year. That's a lot. But I have a solution to this. To answer Dave, called Lunch Without Waste Day in schools, where we have to ask the students to carry their lunch, which contains no disposable or throwaway packaging. Drinks and food should be packed within reusable containers and carrying a reusable lunch box. I know it's really hot these days and it's not easy to carry our lunch without any wrapping paper. But I believe our small sacrifices will definitely lead to a better environment for the future generations. Announcing this day in every school is very important because plastic takes up a major portion in municipal solid waste, or MSW. The plastic packaging used to pack our food products contributes significantly to plastic waste, of which 14 million tons ends up in oceans every year. But to actually protect our environment and make this idea a success, we have to act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sana. It was really nice and insightful to listen to you. Thank you for your thoughts. And next we have Sarvagya. Hi, Sarvagya, are you ready? Good evening.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Greetings all. I'm Sarvagya of S1A from the Modern School ECNCR and an ACNA member. Today I'm sharing how my little effort is replacing plastic from my life. I always opt for smarter choices. Whenever I go out for shopping, I carry a jute bag or a cloth bag which prevents me from using plastic bags. I purchase items which are not made up of plastic or have any unnecessary plastic packaging. I am very fond of juice, so I opt for juices that come in Tetra packs or the juices that come in paper and other organic material packaging. There are many games and toys which are made up of plastic which people buy for gifting purposes. While selecting gifts, I opt for non-plastic toys. Recently, I have gifted a wooden chessboard to one of my friends. I have found out that all of my efforts are contributing to the SDG number 12, that is responsible consumption and production. Believing that even a single act can have an impact, I hope that all my efforts will help us to achieve the SDG goals and protect our planet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarvagya. Thank you for your thoughts. Next, we have Shambhavi. Yeah. Hi, Shambhavi. Good evening. Please unmute yourself.
Ma'am, should I start?
Definitely.
One of the first conditions of happiness is that the link between the human and the nature shall not be broken. Greetings to one and all present here. I am Shambhavi Chaudhary, studying in class 7th from Springfield's New Moradabad, India. Today, I'm here to present my views on the topic conserving the environment. The environment is very precious to us, and we should make efforts to make it better and better and better each day. So, as we move forward and look afterwards, we look at two things. We look at the past and the present. That's the general way. But we are unable to foresee that what we actually need to look for is not either the past or the present, but it's our future. Problems like climate change, global warming, rising sea levels, and all of the problems that are rising in the entire world currently are not just for the sake of normal talk, but an urgent action is needed to prevent them. We must be aware of the fact that the time has come when we actually need to look forward and do something. And it's not that in the past, the great work of conserving the environment wasn't done. Even in the past, the great work was done. It was always seen that the environment is conserved. But I think one thing was missing there that we do have now. Can you guess what it is? It is the power of the biggest youth. It will not be much if we all just do our share. So take time out this year and do something for the environment. Now, I would like to share with you how my friends and I are trying to conserve the nature. We bring saplings on our birthdays and plant them in the nearby gardens. Through this, around 100 plants have been planted in our colony garden. We in our colony also have a youth environment club where we perform various activities to spread awareness to all the children and the people of our locality. At home also, I try my best to conserve the nature. Like, I don't waste water and electricity. I don't pollute the air by burning things outside. And I try my best not to harm the plants and animals in any way. Now, I would like to turn off my virtual background so that I can show you the things which I've made. Okay, so I would like to show you these showpiece items which I have made using glass bottles, and I've painted them and used them by making them an art piece, a showpiece. I've also made this flower pot using a cardboard tube, and I've covered it with POP, and then I've painted a scenery on it. I have also made this picture using a plywood. So instead of throwing these unuseful things, I have transformed them into something useful in a very creative way. I hope, so these were my little steps which I have made to make the environment healthier and to stop the pollution. I hope that my words will have an effective impact on all the listeners and they will start to act now. नदियों को साफ मत कीजिए, बस गंदा करना बंद कर दीजिए. साफ तो वो खुद अपने आप को कर लेगी. जंगल मत उगाइए, बस पेड़ काटना बंद कर दीजिए. जंगल खुद उग जाएगा. शांति स्थापित मत कीजिए, अशांति फैलाना बंद कर दीजिए. शांति खुद हो जाएगी. व्यवस्था मत बनाइए, व्यवस्थित बनिए. व्यवस्था खुद हो जाएगी. Thank you very much for lending me your ears. That's all from my side. Over to you.
Thank you, Shambhavi. Very nice. Very, I would say, impactful, because the last lines which you shared, plus the things that you have made, the things that you've shown us are really, really beautiful. They're nice. And, it really motivates us to, again, do something for the environment on this World Environment Day. So thank you so much. It was really lovely listening to you. Next, we have Shivain of the Modern School. Shivain, if you're here, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, may I proceed?
Yes.
Only we humans do the things that our earth can't digest. Greetings, everyone. My name is Shivin Bhatnagar of class 9th of the Modern School ECNCR. Today, I'll be sharing my views on how to reuse and reduce plastics. So first of all, as we all know that there are immense tons of plastics in our sea. It's not only increasing plastic pollution, but also water pollution. Many products are made from plastic manufacturing. Why aren't we manufacturing plastic for being good for us? We go to a shop buying leather shoes, promoting animal cruelty as it is made from animal skin. Why aren't we taking plastic manufactured shoes and other products like sunglasses, etc.? Plastic bottles, one of the major reasons for plastic pollution. Why aren't we finding an alternative for it? And why aren't we reducing it? The alternative for plastic pollutions are copper bottles. And the cheaper version, it is the clay bottles. We can organize poetry clubs to spread awareness about the clay bottles and what is the alternative of plastic bottles and how to reduce it. This would also make manufacturing of clay bottles increase, and therefore employment in our country would also increase, targeting no poverty sustainable development goal number 1 as well. This would help get us rid of plastics and make earth a better place to live in. Therefore, it is time to act now and react now and save our mother earth. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Shivain. Really liked what you spoke about. Next, we have Tanisha from Brookfield International School. Tanisha, can we have you unmuted? Yeah.
Greetings of the day to one and all present here. I am Tanisha Sharma, an ACNOW student from Brookfield International School. Sustainability can practice by choosing better lifestyle choices that reduce the impact on environment and promote social and economic well-being. Rather than expecting from others, do yourself first. I believe that I should initiate myself. My way of contribution to sustainability is starting a composting system at home. Composting is the process of breaking down organic waste such as vegetable scraps and yard trimmings into nutrient-rich soil amendment that can fertilize plants. By composting, you can reduce the amount of waste that goes into landfills, which ultimately helps in reducing greenhouse gas emission and conserve natural resources. Composting is a simple way to reduce waste and help the environment. It can also provide you with a free source of organic fertilizer to your plants or house planters. Plus, it's a great way to get involved in sustainable living and make a positive impact on the planet. I have acted. Now it's your turn to act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanisha. Thank you for your words. And next in the participation list, we have Vinayak from the Modern School, Delhi. Yeah, Vinayak, please unmute yourself.
Greetings of the day, everyone. I am Vinayak from the Modern School, Delhi, and I wish to generate attention at how ignorant our society has become over plastic and its uses. For example, plastic bottles, a very useful and a very practical product, a very hard to replace one, but nonetheless very harmful for our environment. But the least we can do is avoid it. But nowadays, I'm seeing soft drinks being sold in bottles as small as 200 or 250 ml and some even smaller. For a product we generally consume within 5 minutes after buying it, we are using a material which acts as a pollutant to our soil for over hundreds of years. Do you know that only 5% of plastic bottles are actually recycled? The rest 95% will stay and pollute our environment even beyond our lifetimes. I'm sure we have all heard about the 3 R's: reuse, reduce, and recycle. But worse times call for even stronger measures. And there are 3 more R's I'd like to add. I'd like to introduce reutilize existing products with creativity. Research about which products in your frequent use harm our environment and retrospect whether those products are really worth it and plan to become more eco friendly. Change the world today. Don't gamble on the future and act now without delay. Here, in front of you all, I pledge to remove this unessential wastage from my life. Let's work together and play our part in saving our home because there is just one earth just one chance, and we must act and act now.
Thank you so much, Vinayak. It was really nice listening to you. Next, we have Yashmit from the modern school. Yashmit, I request you to please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Should I start?
Yes, definitely, you can start.
Sustainable development is the only policy of a bright future on this planet which we call home. A very awesome morning to all of you present here. I am Yashmit Chavla, an ACNA youth volunteer from the Modern School, Delhi, India. One of the most urgent goals of sustainable development is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. So, to realize this goal, we should promote direct from farm produce for our vegetables, fruits, dairy supplies, as well as other grocery needs. We should buy these products locally and directly from farms in local vicinity. Nowadays, many ventures have come up through which we can order our daily supplies. This would tremendously help in reducing the packaging material waste. Such waste is a major contributor in garbage dumping grounds. It will reduce transportation and storage requirements, which results in lowering carbon footprints and helps in environment protection. We all, as individuals, as families, as community, should promote this. It also goes hand to hand with the government policy of being local for vocal. So let's act now on sustainability and have an uncompromised future. Thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Yashmit. It was really nice to listen from you.
Thank you.
Next, in the speakers list, we have Anushka Tripathi from St. Anandram Jaipuria School, Lucknow. Anushka?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
You can start with your speech.
Yes, so greetings, everyone. And first of all, a very happy World Environment Day to all of you. And before I begin, I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. It is an immense honor to be here and address such an esteemed gathering of individuals dedicated to environmental conservation. And our planet is alarming off, and it's time to wake up and take action. We can contribute to the environmental protection with little actions in our routine lives. For instance, reducing energy consumption, reducing sustainable transportation, planting trees, and creating green spaces. And I didn't know enough to make big statements and try to inculcate major changes. But today, I want to emphasize a crucial aspect of the environment that extends beyond flora and fauna. It is the recognition that the environment encompasses the entire spectrum of human experience, including our workspaces and the well being of individuals within a community. It's about being sensitive to the people around you. It's about how happy people are while working for nature. When we speak of environment, it is vital to acknowledge the importance of creating a positive and inclusive work experience, as the small things can make a difference to someone's entire work experience. So, if you can make it a pleasurable experience for someone to hold back as a memory for entire life, it can result in fulfillment towards our one common goal of environmental protection. In this critical moment, we must address the urgent need for climate action. Our planet is facing unprecedented challenges, and the time to act is now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anushka. Thank you for your kind words. And moving forward, we have Ansh. Ansh, are you still there? Well, I'm not able to find him in the participant list. All right. Okay. All right. So this was all from the speakers list, from the speeches that we have prepared. Now I give all the students an open forum. I would like to know from all of you that since morning you have been attending these sessions, and there are many great speakers who have come and who have shared their thoughts, what they do, how they are contributing to the environment. I would like to know from all the students out here who are there in the session and who are listening. I would like to know your thoughts that which speaker or maybe whom did you connect the most with, and what all did you learn today new that you were not aware of. So I would like all of you to raise your hands and I'll give you a chance to speak one by one. So first hand that I have seen is Akshit. Akshit Manhotra, please unmute yourself. And also the video that you were supposed to play, you can play it right away.
Yes, ma'am. I believe the greatest threat to our planet right now is that the belief that someone else might save it. So, on that note, a happy Environment Day because it's 5th June now. And thank you to all of the ACNOW team, ma'am, you, our Honorable Principal, sir, Ronnie, sir, and Rajiv, sir, for this wonderful event. Well, all the sessions were intriguing, but the three sessions in my mind right now, so just let me quickly go through all of them. First was the session where Vice Admiral Pradeep sir took us through the green, blue, and brown economy and elaborated on the blue economy. So I love that session, was very informative for me. Second was when Pekka answered my question. He explained it very well, very clearly. So I got a view of green jobs also. Third was Mala ma'am, when she gave us a whole new concept and a whole new understanding of how to sustain and create a better environment. So that were the three sessions. And now I'd like to show and leave us all with a small message that we can all be a revolution too and spark a little bit of fire.
Definitely. I would request the technical team to give Akshit the right so that he can just share a video.
So can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. There we go.
We can see your screen, Akshit, but we cannot listen to anything if you're trying to share.
One second now.
No issues. Till the time you just sort out your glitch, I'll take the next speaker who wants to speak. So Dhriti, yes, please share. Dhriti from Brookfield International School would like to share her thoughts. And yeah, tell me. So Dhriti, tell me who all were your favorite speakers, whom you could connect the most with, and what all did you learn from today's session?
Ma'am, I would like to start with a very happy World Environment Day to everyone. I hope this World Environment Day safeguards the jewel that brings peace, purity, and serenity to our lives. First of all, I would like to thank our principal, Jay Kumar sir, Rajiv sir, and Ronnie sir for making me a part of this 24-hour event, and all the educators, especially you, who helped us in preparing our scripts. All the speakers and guests who spoke today and conducted sessions were very informative. They made us explore environment issues, engage in problem solving, and taking actions to improve the condition of our environment. I learned a lot from all the speeches, but my favorite part of the event was the session conducted by Vice Admiral Pradeep Chauhan sir, especially during the interaction session. The way he answered my question and inspired me as a youth volunteer through experience and examples from the wonderful marine diversity made a certain impact on me.
All right, beautiful. So I hope it was insightful for you. And actually, I've seen you that you are sitting with us throughout the session. It was really nice. I really like the enthusiasm with which all our participants, all our students who are, so enthusiastic towards asking questions. They want to know, they want to learn. And this inquisitiveness is something that we look forward to. So good, very good job done by all the speakers, all the students. Next, we have Kimaira from Modern School.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Well, I am done with the glitch. So probably she can speak and then I can just show the video.
All right. Yes, Kimaira.
So, yes. So, first of all, happy Environment Day to everybody. And thank you to everybody who thought that I can be a part of this event. I can be a part of environment saving. And this event was a very rare opportunity that we get. Like, it was the first time I got this chance to be a part of the event, this type of event actually. And everybody inspired me a lot. My dog also inspired me a lot today. So everybody inspired me a lot. But Eric sir was the one who became my inspiration today, because what he has done for the world is, I think, undoubtedly very amazing. Mala ma'am was really nice also, and I was really enlightened by everybody, and it was really good to get to know everyone's opinion on how to save our environment. And it was really good to see people thinking about environment today. And that's thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Sana from the students who would like to share her experience. Sana, please unmute yourself.
Ma'am, may I show the video first? Susie, ma'am.
Yes, Akshit.
Ma'am, can I show the video now or after her speech?
Well, I'll give you a turn. First, let me just complete with all the students. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, Sana, please.
First of all, a very happy Environment Day to everyone. All the speakers who spoke today definitely had a very big impact on my mind, and I definitely carry along with that for a long time now. But the speakers I liked the most was Eric sir and Vice Admiral Pradeep Chauhan sir, and also Winnie ma'am from Taiwan. Three of them had really good speeches, and I felt like I interacted with them the most. And it was really nice, and I would really thank Rajiv sir who gave me an opportunity to join this, and I'm really grateful for that. And it was really exciting meeting. Thank you, Sakshi ma'am, for helping us for our scripts and speeches. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to know more, about how you felt about the whole session. If if you could remember anything in particular that made you feel like really wow, it is something that I can do in my real life as well. It is something that is really doable. Anything that you would share on those lines. Yes, Sana, is there anything that you would want to share more?
Yes, ma'am, I was really inspired by the blue economy. I've heard of the blue economy for the first time that Pradeep sir shared. I got to know about Sagar, which is again a program which Pradeep sir told. So that had me like, wow, this is also a thing on Earth. And I'll definitely continue all those advices given by the speakers. And yeah.
Perfect. Very nice. All right. Next, we have Arihant from the modern school. Arihant.
So the most I like Raheem sir the most, as he lived in Dubai, and I had several questions in my mind for Dubai, but I was not able to ask him as the other speaker joined and we were not able to ask questions from Raheem sir. So yeah, that's it I would like to say, and a happy Environment Day to all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is actually so great that, our students are so inquisitive that we were running really short with time because, yes, there were many speakers, they were aligned, but, the enthusiasm that all of you have shown throughout the event was really spectacular. And it was really good and cool to see such young minds brainstorming all the questions that we could ask. And, we had Ronnie sir helping us throughout the questions that what kind of questions you can ask according to the theme of the speaker and maybe all of those lines. But the enthusiasm and the courage, it takes a lot, because all the people who had joined, they are dignitaries. They are they had especially taken out time for us, and it takes huge courage to speak in front of those people. And so students like you all, who have got this opportunity to speak and to do that. It was really nice and spectacular to witness such kind of event that we have done today. So yeah, kudos to the all the students, all the participants who are here. And moving forward, yes, next we have Brahmjot from Brookfield International School. Brahmjot, if you could just unmute yourself and share your views.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for another opportunity. As we got many, all of us got many opportunities. First of all, in starting off with the introduction, uh, Miss Earth 2022, Meena Smithu ma'am, came here and she briefed us about then briefed us about the women of the earth and about the earth being environmental and everything. Then Eric sir came and then he started off with um, you see, all the exploration and everything. Then coming on to the speeches, everyone gave their speeches. Meena ma'am also gave her speech from Korea and she also told how she became the Miss Earth 2022 and it was very inspiring from all of us. And we then asked questions and I got a lot of wide knowledge of everything that we had. And then coming on to my second question that I asked to Mala ma'am, and she also helped me, and she also told me that we cannot advise as today's generation doesn't listen to advice, as they always think that advices are their thing, cup of tea, and they just want to do as they want to do. So we also need to work on that. And third thing, when you and Sir, when our principal sir, our new principal sir, Dr. Zeki Singh, and Sir Rajiv sir, and Ronnie sir helped us with you in our speeches, and I'm really grateful for that, and for the whole staff members and everything. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you for this big opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Next we have Shambhavi. Yeah, Shambhavi, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. So, first of all, a very happy World Environment Day to all of them. And special thanks to all the teachers and my respected principal, ma'am, Dr. Pratiksha Dikshit, for giving me this opportunity. Like, I'm feeling blessed that I got the opportunity to speak on such a great stage. And I'm very happy about that. So, the whole event was really fun. The most enjoyable part that I enjoyed a lot was the Sri Lankan dance and the performance which was performed by the BFIS and the TMS students. The choreography was legit great. So the best speakers which I think I enjoyed hearing him was Rahim sir. Like I was brainstormed by his idea that water world was really beautiful. All the animals, the creatures there were so beautiful. And also I liked Miss Earth, Meena ma'am, and Mala ma'am was also great. So that's all.
All right. And what all did you learn, Shambhavi? What new is your takeaway from today's session? Mm. Are you there, Shambhavi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, like, I got many questions answered. Like, I questioned Lily and many more speakers, and I learned a lot from them. Like, how we can conserve the environment, what changes can we do, like, what steps we can take to make the environment healthier. And I got many of my questions answered also. So, I enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you. And next we have Arya Chauhan.
Good evening, one and all. A very happy World Environment Day. I really loved this session. I had always thought of these sessions were not really my cup of tea. But well, here I am, and thank you to all the faculty who thought I was mighty enough to join this legendary event. All of the speakers had a great impact on my mind, but for me, the most interactful speaker were Eric sir and Pradeep sir. They cleared my doubts and blew my mind, and simultaneously motivated me to. These were the speakers who kept me awake and full of energy for almost 13 hours. Salute to our host and my mates. That's all.
Great. Amazing. Next, we have Jaskaran. Jaskaran, please unmute yourself and we would like to hear from you as well. What are your takeaways? What did you like the most?
Yes,
And
ma'am. First of all, a happy Environment Day. So I'm very thankful to JK sir that he had given me this opportunity to be there in this very big and legendary event. So like all the guests were way good, but I like, I mostly liked Vice Admiral Pradeep Chauhan. So like they were just amazing, like how they spoke, they just broke everything in beds. Like they were very enlightenment, like they were very enlightened. Yeah, that's what I like now.
thank you so much. Thank you. Next, we have Sarvagya. Yes, Sarvagya, please share your thoughts, share your experience. How was it for you? And yeah.
So happy Environment Day, ma'am. So my favorite speaker was Mala ma'am, since she taken out a new topic about how children. It was the first time I was seeing that like how a teacher was saying that about how she showed how her children complained and then how she managed to convince them. It was out. It stood. It stood out of most of the speakers. And it is my first online event as well, so it's a very exciting one as well.
Great, great. Thank you so much. We will be a part of your memories that the first online event that you had presented in was our Act Now event. So yeah, next we have Atharv. And apart from Atharv, if there is anyone else who would like to share their thoughts, please raise your hands so that we get to know. Yeah. Yes, Atharv.
A very happy World Environment Day. And firstly, I would like to thank Rajiv sir and JK sir for organizing such an awesome event. Second, I would like to thank you for making us practice all our speeches so that we could deliver them today. And I would also like to thank Shweta ma'am as she selected me to be a part of this session. Me personally, I love the ideas of Vice Admiral Pradeep Chauhan sir, as he was able to make such lengthy topics interesting and fun to listen to. I didn't even realize how much I had learned and in such a fun way before the class was over. Other than that, I also loved Rahim sir's class as he talked about marine biology. I didn't know much about the topic at first, but now listening to him, I think I'm very much interested in that topic and want to explore more in it. And finally, I also loved the experiences and the ideas that Eric sir shared, as he not only told us how we could save the environment, but he also gave it a political edge towards it, how we can raise our voice and how we can uh, talk about the environment all over the world. So basically today I was very surprised seeing that there were so many people that were excited to talk about the environment and got together in one session. That's all.
Thank you so much, Atharv. Thank you for your kind words. And yes, a very happy World Environment Day to you as well. So, yeah, this was all the speeches and the discussion that we had prepped for. Is there anyone in the group who would like to share their thoughts, who would, like to share about their experience of today's event? Can again raise their hand. I'm 100% sure that I haven't missed anyone, but by fluke, if there is some student waiting for their turn, please raise your hand so that I can allow you in the session. All right. So thank you so much, students. And yes, stay tuned because we have an amazing video coming up for you all. So please stay tuned in the session. And as discussed, we will have a next session shortly. So I would request the technical team to play the video and just have a look at it. It is very insightful, and it will give you a lot of food for thought.
More than 4.5 billion years ago, the Milky Way galaxy collided with a nearby dwarf galaxy. This encounter hastened the formation of stars. Our solar system is a part of the Milky Way galaxy. Within the solar system, material circulation had been progressing. The water component from the outer region evaporated to make materials dry. Through this process, particles were zonally distributed depending on their water content. The bipolar flow stopped, and with it material circulation. Some regions around the Sun with high particle density appeared. Within these regions, collisions frequently occurred. Small particles gradually grew to become planetesimals. Planetesimals continued colliding with smaller particles and other planetesimals, eventually growing to planets, such as the Earth. A number of planets were moving in the same orbit. The early Earth collided with a smaller, Mars-sized planet. Debris from this impact eventually came to form our moon. The Earth-Moon system, as we know it today, was in place. Countless planetesimals and icy planets bombarded the early dry Earth. Due to the bombarding water-enriched planetesimals, the Earth became enveloped by an ocean atmosphere system. Water vapor in the atmosphere produced rain, forming an ocean. The atmospheric pressure gradually decreased. The carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere transitioned into a CO2 ocean covering the water ocean. Carbon dioxide also combined with rock components and was transported to the bottom of the ocean through weathering and erosion. At this time, the ocean was still toxic with a high salinity and an overabundance of metals. It was too toxic to support life. Upwelling mantle displaced the oceanic plates above. Uplift of the plate by mantle convection caused horizontal slippage due to the weight of the plate. This is plate tectonics in action. The oceanic plate subducted under the lighter continental plate. Weathered sediments neutralized the ultra-acidic ocean. Heavy metals settled out and became fixed as deposits at the mid-ocean ridge. These deposits were transported through plate tectonics into the deep mantle. Gradually, the ocean became a habitable environment. By 4.2 billion years ago, a liquid core formed in the center of the Earth. Convection within the liquid core created a strong magnetic field surrounding the Earth. This geomagnetic field shields the Earth's surface from cosmic rays. The Earth's surface was nearing readiness for life. The early Earth, when the atmosphere prevented sunlight from reaching the surface. Primitive life was about to emerge underground, in the cave of a geyser. Uranium ore emitted large amounts of radiation, creating a diverse range of materials, and eventually producing the early building blocks of life. Water boiled and rose up to the surface, and the surface water flowed back down into the natural nuclear reactor. The temperature of the geyser water remained below 100 degrees, protecting the newly formed biomolecules. The underground environment was reductive, while the surface environment oxidizing. These conditions were necessary to synthesize biomolecules. In the Earth's Hadean eon, tidal forces were much more pronounced than they are today. Even lakes had significant ebb and flow of water, creating wet and dry cycles. These wet and dry cycles were one of the most crucial factors in producing the building blocks of life. Fatty acids came together, encasing the proto-life molecules. Polymerization progressed under the wet and dry cycles. Eventually, protein-like basic materials that could act as catalysts were produced. These molecules circulated between the geyser cave and the surface environment. The interactions of these materials led to more complex biomolecules. Proto-RNA combined with enzyme-like basic materials and evolved into ribozymes, which had the ability to replicate themselves. This laid the groundwork for life to reproduce. Finally, these molecules were enclosed within lipid membranes, forming primitive protocellular life. This was the beginning of life. The Earth's plate tectonics, which had begun with the creation of its ocean, eventually destroyed its primordial continent and subsumed it to the deep mantle. By 4 billion years ago, the mother continent had disappeared, leaving life on the margins of a fragmented landmass. Inside the Earth, a dramatic change was about to begin. The subducted primordial continent descended toward the core mantle boundary. The wealth of radioactive elements in the primordial continent caused the uppermost part of the core to melt. By 4.2 billion years ago, the newly created liquid outer core was strengthening the Earth's magnetic field, protecting the surface environment against solar winds and cosmic rays. As a result, life could exist on the surface environment. The supply of energy and nutrients through material circulation is necessary for life. The essential mechanism to maintain life is an endless flow of electrons. The first proto-life couldn't survive very far from the nuclear geyser due to insufficient energy. Mutations, however, allowed life to evolve. The more resilient life forms were able to adapt and survive in harsh environments. This second stage of proto-life evolved to make use of the sunlight available on the Earth's surface. They developed a metabolism that converted light energy into electrochemical energy. Moreover, they used sugars to store energy for the sunless night hours. The source of energy for life on Earth shifted from nuclear geysers to the sun. Around 4.1 billion years ago, the ocean was still extremely toxic, killing off most of the proto-life forms within it. Nevertheless, some proto-life forms survived the extreme environment. They developed protective mechanisms to prevent the metallic ions in the ocean water from entering their protocells. This proto-life began coalescing into larger and more complex forms. Modern life forms use only 20 kinds of amino acids. This means our ancestors that used the same amino acids were the ones that survived the mass extinction. Evolution walks a perilous tightrope between continuing and ending. Unstable RNA evolved through ionizing radiation into more durable DNA, making it possible to reliably pass information across generations. And the third stage of proto-life was born. This was the beginning of prokaryotic organisms, the ancestors of today's archaea and bacteria. Oxygen, when unbound to any other material, can be toxic to life because oxygen destroys the reductive life body. Therefore, the first photosynthetic organisms would have been anaerobic microbes, which produced no oxygen. Life, however, adapted, taking advantage of oxygen. As a valuable source of additional energy. This development resulted in the appearance of cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria produced oxygen, which crystallized into felsic iron-bearing oxide, reducing the iron content of the ocean. Still, the ocean was 5 times as saline as it is today. As the Earth's interior cooled, old slabs of the primordial crust, resting at the bottom of the upper mantle, fell into the lower mantle. Meanwhile, numerous mantle plumes ascended from the lower mantle into the upper mantle. This phenomenon is known as mantle overturn. Mantle plumes pushed the basaltic crust upward, generating landmass. This created shallow marine environments penetrated by sunlight, which allowed the cyanobacteria to flourish. The oxygen produced by the cyanobacteria gradually altered the Earth's atmosphere. On the ocean floor, ferric and ferrous iron were accumulating in the form of hematite and magnetite, creating a massive banded iron formation. By 2.5 billion years ago, the remaining banded iron formation was a few kilometers thick. This rapid decrease in iron content changed the color of the ocean to a familiar blue. Life began to change the surface environment. Such is the coevolution of the Earth and its inhabitants. This was an important step in life on Earth's long journey toward civilization. A collision between the Milky Way and a nearby dwarf galaxy produced countless glowing stars. Within a few thousand years, some of these stars ended in supernova explosions. A myriad of cosmic rays from the supernova deteriorated the sun's heliosphere and bombarded the Earth. These cosmic rays helped generate cloud condensation nuclei, which produced more and more clouds until the Earth was completely blanketed with them. The thick cloud cover prevented sunlight from reaching the surface of the Earth. The Earth underwent a global glaciation event known as the Snowball Earth. This caused another global mass extinction. But once again, some life survived yet another difficult period beneath the ice sheet. Tiny life was protected by the Earth's massive circulating system. And the Earth is similarly held in place by the solar system and the expansive universe. Life is but one part of an enormous system. The prokaryotes survived the Snowball Earth, evolving into more complex life, such as endosymbiotic systems living together inside cells. They formed mitochondria and chloroplasts, which allowed them to get more energy from oxygen. A single prokaryote body could contain thousands of mitochondria. A nuclear membrane formed, protecting DNA from the oxygen-dense ocean water. DNA strands grew longer, retaining ever more genetic information. Life evolved into more diverse and complex organisms. At long last, the eukaryotes appeared. The eukaryotes grew 1,000,000 times larger than the prokaryotes. In theory, everything inevitably falls into disorder. And yet, Life is orderly and increasingly complex. Life seems to continue evolving, undeterred by universal entropy. Plate tectonics caused small developing continents to assemble into a single supercontinent called Nuna. As Nuna formed, its burgeoning landmass provided cyanobacteria with an expanding habitat in its lakes, rivers, wetlands, and estuaries. Cyanobacteria produces free oxygen through photosynthesis. At that time, however, most of the free oxygen produced was consumed in decomposing dead cyanobacteria, so very little free oxygen accumulated in the atmosphere. On land, however, dead cyanobacteria got buried under sediments. So oxygen that would have broken down their bodies instead ended up in the atmosphere. The presence of a large landmass helped increase the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere. As the total land area on the surface of the Earth increased, so too did atmospheric oxygen levels, dramatically. Over time, the Nuna supercontinent broke up into smaller continents. But once again, plate tectonics reassembled a supercontinent, this one called Rodinia in Equator region. Slabs of oceanic plates subducted under continental plates gradually accumulated in the mantle transition zone. Eventually, these slabs fell down into the core. The slabs cooled the outer core, changing the flow of electricity within. As a result, the core's dipole magnetic field transformed into a weaker quadrupole magnetic field. The Milky Way galaxy collided with a dwarf galaxy and underwent a transition into starburst conditions. Over time, these newly produced stars ended in supernova explosions, bombarding the Earth with cosmic rays. The Earth, with its weak quadrupole magnetic field, was heavily affected. Clouds covered the entire Earth, and ice covered its surface. A series of supernova explosions occurred. Long periods of extreme heat were punctuated by shorter periods of extreme cold. In the extremely cold periods, oxygen in the atmosphere fell to Archean eon levels, causing mass extinctions. These mass extinctions, however, created great opportunities for life to evolve into something completely new. Repeated influxes of cosmic rays and drastic fluctuations in oxygen levels. These environmental changes caused genetic mutations that accelerated the appearance of new species. The starburst period ended, and the Earth's core reverted to a stronger dipole magnetic field. Ongoing photosynthesis returned the oxygen in the atmosphere to previous levels. Meanwhile, the inner Earth was gradually cooling down. When the inner Earth is hot enough, the components of water trapped in minerals in the oceanic plates are released to the surface environment, and the seawater level is unaffected. However, once the mantle temperature drops below 650 degrees Celsius, minerals carry these water components down into the upper mantle. Meanwhile, on the surface, deprived of the components of water, sea levels gradually decrease. This is known as the leaking Earth phenomenon, which is inevitable on a cooling planet. This leaking effect moved 3% of all seawater into the deeper mantle. Sea level dropped by 600 meters. As a result, surface land areas grew, as did continental shelf areas receiving sunlight. A habitat for future life on Earth was being created. Rivers carried nutrients from the inlands down to the continental shelves. And the additional landmass significantly accelerated the buildup of oxygen in the atmosphere. These processes set the stage for an explosive evolution of life forms. Extreme climate changes continued, putting life on a path to new evolutional stages for survival. Life evolved with prokaryotes and eukaryotes living together as ever larger symbiotic organisms, compensating for each other's shortcomings and thriving as a whole. This greatly expanded the possibilities for forms of life. Life forms grew to 1 million times the size of eukaryotes and 1 trillion times the size of prokaryotes. The appearance of multicellular life was a critical leap for evolution. Another glaciation period came, and life suffered a mass extinction. With time, this glaciation also passed, and the global climate gradually warmed. Phosphorus and other materials essential for life circulated through the climate system and accumulated in the oceans. The animals of the Ediacaran period appeared at this time. Dickinsonia are iconic among the Ediacaran fauna. Some grew to over 1 meter in length. They were soft-bodied creatures with no shell or skeleton. They probably lived in warm, shallow marine environments around the Rodinia supercontinent. The supply of nutrients from the land was ever increasing, as was atmospheric oxygen. The amount of ferrous iron in the oceans increased. The ferrous iron oxidized, once again creating large bands of iron. Phosphorus and calcium levels in the ocean increased. Life evolved to use these elements, becoming animals with bones and shells. For example, the calcium helped protect Microdictyon from other animals. Their bodies used calcium to form a covering of hard scales. Life evolves to survive, making use of the elements in its environment. And the Earth's environment alters the shapes of life. The Earth entered another period of climactic instability. The Earth alternated between periods of extreme heat and extreme cold for tens of millions of years. These severe changes killed off the Ediacaran fauna. Nevertheless, new species were about to appear. Radiation from inside the Earth plays a significant role in the evolution of life. A continental rift is a place where a continent breaks open to expose erupting magma and radioactive elements. Radiation hastens the creation of new species and new branches in the tree of life. This is stem evolution, creating new species at continental rifts. Life evolved separately on each small continent. When small continents recombined, their life forms crossbred. Different crossbreedings created new forms of life. Variation thrived. This is crown evolution. Continental collisions created more diverse surface environments. Bays and gulfs on large continents were especially well supplied with nutrients from upstream. Making use of these nutrients, Cambrian-era life forms diversified much more quickly. The Cambrian explosion created some 35 new phyla. These phyla became the foundation for the types of plants and animals we see today. There are three main ways that life evolved. Mass extinctions that eradicated many species. Stem evolution that hastened genetic mutations when continents broke apart. And crown evolution that hastened biodiversification when continents collided. So, the evolution of life is inextricably linked to environmental changes due to universal factors and continents assembling together and breaking apart. The ocean was more than 5 times as saline as it is today. 600 million years ago, the ocean gradually became less salty. Salt from seawater was relocated to the land in the form of rock salt. Decreasing sea levels made this possible through more exposed land. Even if seawater rose again high enough to reclaim the rock salt, most of it had become inaccessible, encased in sediments. The decrease in seawater salinity made the ocean more hospitable to diverse life forms. Estuaries and open seas welcomed new life. With increasing atmospheric oxygen levels, an ozone layer formed in the Earth's upper atmosphere. The ozone layer absorbs ultraviolet radiation from the sun. The land was becoming a more habitable environment. Algae was the first life form to transition out of the water onto the challenging land environment. This is why algae evolved before animals did. When insects appeared, they co-evolved together with plants. Appearing during the Cambrian explosion, fish were the first of the vertebrates, animals with backbones. Fish are the oldest vertebrate ancestors of us humans. As fish continued to evolve, Ichthyostega appeared, the ancestor of amphibians. Plants flourished. producing free oxygen through photosynthesis, providing the atmosphere with 1.5 times as much oxygen as it has today. Long after, the remains of these plants would become sedimentary coal. That coal would help fuel the remarkable breakthroughs for human civilization that started with the Industrial Revolution. Next, vertebrates equipped with lungs appeared and made their way onto land. The tree of life evolved, branching from fish to amphibians to reptiles and then dinosaurs and mammals, and eventually to humans. This guy hasn't found out about all that just yet. The solar system collided with a dark nebula. As the solar system passed through the nebula, the Earth was bombarded with cosmic rays. The Earth entered yet another frozen age. Plants were affected first, dramatically reducing the oxygen they supplied to the atmosphere. The surface environment reverted to an anaerobic state, like during the Archean period. The lack of oxygen killed off most species of amphibians, reptiles, and insects. Life managed to continue evolving, but faced another big challenge. Untouched by the evolutionary changes on the Earth's surface, anaerobic microorganisms had been thriving in oxygen-poor underground environments. The new oxygen-poor surface environment allowed them to re-emerge on land and in oceans. Their native habitat expanded across the globe. As oxygen levels rose again, these microorganisms evolved to adapt to the new environmental conditions, setting the stage for another phase of evolution. The emergence of new creatures that would evolve into humans was close at hand. On the supercontinent Pangaea, mammals and reptiles appeared and started evolving under a warm climate. While reptiles diversified into many varieties, mammals remained nocturnal, rat-sized animals. The mammals were in the shadows. With the appearance of dinosaurs, reptiles entered a golden age. Dinosaurs prevailed against many other animal species and won the struggle for survival. High radiation magma is produced when a continent is split apart, And this is where stem evolution occurs due to induced mutation. Dinosaurs were at the pinnacle of their ecosystems. The pieces of northern Pangaea that had split later rejoined. This caused crown evolution. Amalgamation of continents brings the hybridization of life, and new species spread out to other continents. Dinosaurs flourished all over the world. In the plant world, angiosperms with advanced reproductive capacities appeared. Angiosperms utilize animals to help with pollination and thus flourished. On the other hand, the habitat of gymnosperms was reduced. Primates, the ancestors of humans, appeared at the rift of the Gondwana supercontinent. Via stem evolution, new species appeared among the rodents, such as rats. With time, Gondwana split into South America and Africa. After South America was isolated, the primates there evolved into the New World monkeys. On the African continent, the primates evolved into the Old World monkeys. After the Indian subcontinent split off from Antarctica, primates on this continent evolved into the lorises. Primates evolved independently on each continent. And in this way, many species of primate appeared. A large-scale Pacific superplume pushed the Pacific plate up and raised the sea level. Lowlands fell below sea level, and the total land area decreased. Rising sea levels segmented the continent, providing isolated environments for individualized morphological evolution. A universe-scale event had changed Earth's surface environment. The solar system collided with a dark nebula. The Earth was entirely covered by clouds. Global cooling progressed, catastrophically damaging ecosystems. Finally, a meteorite 10 kilometers across fell on the Yucatan Peninsula. This event was the final trigger to cause the mass extinction of dinosaurs. The fate of the Earth's life is deeply connected to the events in the universe. Universe-scale events can cause global cooling and mass extinctions. Moreover, galactic cosmic rays directly affect the DNA that carries the blueprints of life. Cosmic rays cause mutations which promote evolution. All aspects of life on the Earth are thus influenced by universe-scale events. Finally, the dinosaurs that had flourished went extinct. Along the African Rift Valley, explosive volcanic activity continued, and peculiar magma containing abundant radioactive elements erupted. Old world monkeys, a new clade of primates, appeared there. They are thought to be our remote ancestors. About 4.5 billion years have passed since the birth of the Earth. Large fluctuations in terrestrial environments have occurred repeatedly, a never-ending cycle of life and death. Finally, human beings appeared. This was the onset of the Humanozoic Eon. Humans have a unique set of genetic regions called human accelerated regions, or HARs, and these regions differentiate humans from other animals. Humans developed enlarged brains that enabled them to gain language capabilities. They also gained the abilities to think, to be conscious, to remember, and to imagine. The brain volume of human beings has discontinuously increased in 3 stages. The growth of brain volume seems to be synchronized with large-scale volcanic eruptions. This indicates that the increase in brain volume is caused by stem evolution, driven by high R magma. About 1,200,000 years ago, humans started moving out of the African continent. The last common female ancestor who left the African continent 200,000 years ago is called mitochondrial Eve. Descendants of mitochondrial Eve entered North America and Central America 15,000 years ago. 10,000 years ago, further descendants reached the southern tip of South America. They had spread all over the world. Since then, an epochal advance of human civilization has taken place. Humans invented agriculture and livestock production. With these methods, a stable food supply became possible. Human populations increased rapidly. Various occupational specializations arose. People began to barter and trade. To enable effective bartering, cities formed. With time, small cities developed into small city-states, with currencies, economies, laws, courts, and police. Finally, the 4 great civilizations of the world appeared along large rivers, where food productivity is higher than in other regions. Conflicts and fighting over territory occurred between civilizations. To avoid fighting, religions spread to replace governance by royal families entrenched through inheritance. With time, national leaders came to be elected by voters. Modern democratic nations appeared. Democracy is a social form that grants freedom, equality, and basic human rights. The Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain after the Principia by Isaac Newton was published. New technologies, established or applied based on scientific knowledge, dramatically changed human society. The invention of the steam locomotive enabled transportation of goods by railway. The invention of cars and airplanes enabled us to travel long distances easily. Human society entered the age of never-before-seen abundance. However, war occurred incessantly. Sometimes, irreversible tragedy was caused by the misapplication of scientific knowledge. The information revolution arose following the invention of computers. It enabled human beings to explore the universe, as was symbolized by the Apollo program. And the invention of the internet led to a new era in which people across the world can connect with each other in an instant. Out of contrition over past wars, the birth of a unified world nation is coming to be realized. In 1993, the EU was formed as a unified state in Europe, where wars had recurred most frequently. In other areas, similar federations have been emerging, bringing us closer to the birth of a unified world nation. Within the scope of Earth's history, the Humanozoic era is very short. However, it is humans' entire history, unfolding within the context of the Earth's history. Biologically, human beings are just one species of animal. However, we are essentially different from other animals because of our evolved brains. What else lies ahead for human beings? Human activities have been dependent on fossil fuel. Fossil fuel was produced and accumulated through Earth's history over billions of years. We are now using up these fuels at a furious pace. The amount of fossil fuel remaining is expected to decrease sharply after 2020. It was once assumed that fossil fuel would run out by 2100. However, due to the shale gas revolution, this depletion will be delayed 100 years. Progress in medical technology and the intake of nutritious meals has caused explosive population growth. As a result, serious food shortages will occur around 2020. These will mark the beginning of the era of 3 billion refugees. However, the world's population is expected to decrease to 5 billion by 2100, after peaking at 10 billion in 2050. Until 2050, the increasing population will continue to cause serious environmental contamination. Numerous global challenges will amplify the anxiety within human societies. What does the future of human beings hold? In the field of science, innovative technologies will be developed at an accelerated pace. Humans will build a space base on the moon to prepare for exploration of our solar system's planets. Artificially intelligent robots will be involved in space exploration, assisting humans in their tasks. In the near future, self-replicating robots will appear and will evolve beyond humans' limits. These artificial life forms will gradually travel out into the galaxy. Moreover, new technology enabling us to go into different dimensions will be developed. Humans must become able to recognize the world beyond space and time. Eventually, the role of human beings will be finished. That will be the end of the Humanozoic era. This scenario may be the inevitable result of the strategy of life's evolution. Because in the future, the Earth will face more upheavals than ever before in its history. Centering on Asia, all continents will gather to form the supercontinent Amasia. Plants consume atmospheric CO2 to fix carbon in their bodies. Dead plants made of fixed carbon are covered by sediment. This process plays a role in reducing atmospheric CO2. The appearance of the supercontinent Amasia will lead to an increase in the land area that can fix carbon. More plants on a larger supercontinent reduce more atmospheric CO2. The amount of CO2 will decrease to 1/10 of the present level. The C4 plants, requiring higher concentrations of CO2, will go extinct. As a result, other animals that rely on the C4 plants for food will be affected. Seawater has been decreasing for the past 600 million years as it has been transported into the mantle in the form of hydrous minerals. Finally, mid-oceanic ridges form summits above the seawater. Water cannot be taken into the crust as a lubricant anymore, and plate tectonics is terminated. This is the fate of a cooling planet. Volcanic activity along the subduction zone stops. Upheaval of the mountains stops. The Earth suffers severe environmental changes due to erosion. Subducted cold plates do not go down to the bottom of the mantle. The outer core is not cooled down anymore, and the geomagnetic field disappears. Earth's atmosphere is removed by the solar wind. At this point in time, large multicellular animals living in the surface environment go extinct. When the ocean disappears, animals that survived in the ocean will also die. Finally, all the Earth's life disappears. The heating up of the solar surface increases the Earth's surface temperature to 500 degrees Celsius. The Earth becomes a Venus-like planet. The Andromeda Galaxy collides with our Milky Way galaxy. Because of this collision, the birth rate of stars increases. With time, those stars undergo supernova explosions. intense galactic cosmic rays rain on the Earth. The expanding sun will swallow the Earth. This is the day when the planet Earth, that gave birth to life, will disappear from the universe. By that time, the Earth's life will have reached other galaxies as self-replicating artificial life in a different form.
Well, indeed, it was an insightful video. Next, there's another video that we are supposed to play. So I request the technical team to please play the video.
Good evening, Dr. Nial. This is 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. evening in India, and we are sitting in New Delhi, and you have joined from UK. Welcome to the 4th edition of the world's longest and largest environment online event, Earth is Calling Act Now. And I'm very grateful that you're here today. I remember 4 years back when I messaged you the first time, you so happily replied, and despite your so busy schedule, despite your lectures, adventures, explorations, you have been with us for throughout all these 4 years. You've always made sure that one of the videos somehow you had a bit of contribution to our event also. I'm so grateful because our target audience is mostly youth and young students, and when they are able to interact with people on the ground level who have such high profiles, but they have spared their time to talk to them, it's the greatest inspiration that we can give them. So thank you very much and most welcome to this show, this event. I have two young students from Model School Delhi, and they will be asking a few questions they prepared for you. And I'm sure that you'll put in your expertise into covering into your answers, not only the cause that you work for, the life that you have led, but also to the event itself. Thank you so much. I hand it over to Barminder now to proceed with that. Before that, Dr. Nial, an opening statement from you.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Barminder, a 12-year-old and an Act Now youth volunteer from Modern School NCR Delhi.
Good afternoon, Nal sir. I'm Nandini. I'm 13 and Act Now youth volunteer from Modern School NCR Delhi.
So beginning with the first question, we believe in the undeniable healing powers of outdoor and adventure. Millimeters to mountains has really put to test the very grit of human nature. So please let us know, what propelled 3 young men with life-changing spinal cord injuries to climb Europe's largest ice cap in just 11 days?
Thanks for the question, Barminder. So as a bit of background for those that are listening, I had a spinal cord injury in 2016, which results in quite a bit of paralysis from my waist down. And as a result of that, I've met various other people who have also suffered similar injuries. And 2 of these guys, Darren and Ed, I've become quite good friends with. Darren is a complete paraplegic, so has 0 sensation from his chest down, and Ed is an incomplete quadriplegic, so has partial effect of everything from his neck down. We came up with the idea of trying to ski across Europe's largest ice cap, which is called Vatnajökull. It's in Iceland. It's 140 kilometers wide. and then having to manage all of the issues of a spinal cord injury while also doing what is a difficult enough expedition for an able-bodied team. All of us have issues regulating our temperature, controlling our bladders and our bowels, just with strength and coordination and all of these things that would normally make it challenging enough for any human being, let alone what we were going through. We put together this expedition, and in 11 days from middle of April earlier this year, we managed to ski across Vatnajökull, which, yeah, we suffered or endured every possible condition you can imagine, from pouring rain down to minus 27 degrees centigrade. A quite astonishing change in climatic conditions, but had some wonderfully serene moments as well. We witnessed sundogs 22 degrees either side of the sun. We witnessed a mirage which brought a mountain over the horizon from under the horizon as a result of the mirage, and various other exceptional atmospheric phenomena, as well as just having a great time. We got on really well, and we were very fortunate to succeed and finish in 11 days. And now, yeah, settling back into life at home is easy by comparison, but we're delighted to have overcome that challenge.
Wow, so that's actually quite moving.
Thank you. And I should have probably said that Millimeters to Mountains is the charity that was set up by Ed, which helps to support people who've suffered mental or physical trauma and uses adventure in the outdoors as their means of recovery. And we're thrilled to have been raising money and to continue to be raising money for Millimeters to Mountains, which is a charity of which I'm also an ambassador.
Thank you,
So
sir.
moving to the further question, when I opened my eyes for the first time on this planet, I found myself surrounded by technology. Do you think technological development is a threat to environmental conservation?
Great question, Nandini. Inevitably, it's both a threat and potentially a solution, like all of these things. As we have industrialized, we've needed more and more energy, and generating that energy and the materials that we need in order to fulfill our industrial ambitions as nations are damaging on the planet. But now we have all of those things. We also have the technologies that we need in order to be able to reduce the damage that we are having. But I think it's important that we also don't forget that the best technology out there for keeping the planet healthy and safe and in balance is nature itself. We can use AI, we can use tech to try and solve the problems that we have created. But the best solution for those problems is to invest in nature and in nature-based solutions.
So moving on to the next question. Maintaining biodiversity is a huge challenge, and our lives as humans depends upon it. Yet we see scientists suggesting one thing while politicians are implementing, or rather not implementing, quite the contrary. So how do you think we, as youths, can bridge this gap?
Great question. I think one of the issues we have is that political life cycles are quite short. So politicians are thinking in terms of 4-year voting cycles or 5-year voting cycles, whereas as scientists, we're thinking in terms of generations, many generations. And what is now apparent is that the mistakes that were made by the previous generation and have been made by the current generation are having a manifest impact on our lives now. So the best time to act was 40 or 50 years ago. The second best time to act is right now. So we need to crack on. In terms of what the youth can do, I think there's a lot of things to bear in mind. You will be the politicians of the future. So please don't forget that you are engaged on a planet that needs us in perpetuity, not just in terms of 4-year voting cycles. So when you are in politics or in power or in positions of influence, use that wisely. Even if you're not a politician, you are at least a voter. We have a democratic right to elect the people that then implement the policies that are in their manifestos. Use your vote very, very wisely. I think all too many people are a little bit short-sighted about how they use their vote. And if you're voting for politicians that are enacting policies that are damaging the planet, you are voting to damage the planet. And likewise, the converse, if you're voting for people that are protecting the planet, you're voting to protect the planet. A massive thing in today's day and age is the power of the employee. And as people graduate, you are going to become a very, very valuable resource to companies. If you are unwilling to dedicate your labor, your work time to companies that are damaging the planet, then those companies will have to change their practices. There's no market for Shell or BP or Exxon if there's no employees. So understanding that your labor is valuable and powerful, I think, is a really important thing. And especially those of you that are lucky enough to have considerable talents that are really attractive to these types of organizations, they know that they need the best people. And if the best people won't work for damaging companies, then those companies will change their practices.
Sir, speaking of youth, I'd like to ask you, what is a piece of integral advice you'd like to give me right now as a 12-year-old to work towards our environment?
Yeah, believe that you can make a difference. And you can. 12-year-olds have just as much understanding as I do at 41, really, when it comes to the world. And maybe probably less cynicism and you're less bashful. So one of the things I've come to understand is that politicians will listen if you go and knock on the door and speak to them. Businesses will listen if you knock on the door and speak to them. Most adults lose the courage to do that for some reason, but children tend to have that courage. You're not afraid of authority to knock on the door and speak to people that are your elected representatives and that are the companies that represent your local area. And keep on doing that as you get older as well. Do not lose the courage of youth.
Sir, as we all know, you are one of the foremost wildlife explorers in the world. What makes you engage with such deadly creatures?
Yeah, I guess lots of things. I was really lucky to be brought up in a family of people that loved spending time in wildlife, in nature, and got a bit of extra enjoyment out of spending time with the types of creatures that see us as legitimate sources of food, or that are particularly dangerous for one or other reason. But my dad really, really encouraged me into this type of thing. My mum really encouraged me into this type of thing. And my brothers have had very, very similar trajectories to me. But we still have to forge your own path. And there comes a time when you stop sitting in the shadow of your parents and you start to branch out on your own. And I realized at some point in I guess, my late teens and early 20s that I wasn't just doing these things because my parents wanted me to, but because it was important to me to, and because I loved it too. I love spending time in nature. I love interacting with wildlife, dangerous or otherwise. And I love spreading the message to the rest of the world that we need wildlife for our own survival, and it needs it has its own rights to survival at the same time. So yeah, I was very lucky to grow up in a family that introduced me to this, but now it's part of me. It's not just something that my parents encouraged, it's very much a part of me.
So as we see, hear, and know, we've already made colossal mistakes in handling Mother Earth and its graceful creatures. So how can we, as citizens of tomorrow, mend our wrongs and fix our extremely broken relationship with nature and wildlife?
Yeah, you're right, our relationship with nature is broken, but it's fixable. And I think things are changing. People are understanding that we aren't just living on the planet alone, and that we have to share it with our fellow inhabitants, and that if we don't, the consequences for our own societies are dire. What I want young people to understand is that you are the way that we're going to guarantee that happens in perpetuity. We still need my generation and generation above to stop behaving so badly and to start changing our practices, but we need pressure from the youth. And that pressure comes in many, many forms. As I've said before, it comes from voting, it comes from employment, but it comes from innovation as well. It's your innovation that's going to enable us to find sustainable ways of continuing our economic growth. As societies, we build our economies based on some form of growth, but that has to be within the confines of a finite planet. There's no such thing as infinite growth on a finite planet. And it's the innovations of youth that are going to enable us to continue to have successful and thriving economies on a planet that is also able to thrive.
So, as a very committed conservationist, where from do you draw your strength to work tirelessly for the cause? That includes supporting ACT-NOW.
Yeah, I guess I partially draw my strength from my family in that I was brought up to believe that we as humanity are not alone on the planet, that we share it and we need to share it. And given an understanding that nature is wonderful in and of its own, let alone for the impact that it has on us, And then I guess I've been surrounded by people that are utterly dedicated to protecting the planet as well for so long. People I've chosen to surround myself with. And I've also seen the opposite. I've seen people that have a throwaway attitude to life, that are unconscious in their consumption, or even consciously negative in their consumption, consciously over-consuming. And I've developed a really strong intolerance of people who spend their lives and don't try and improve the planet around them. And that improvement can be small, just by having a positive impact on your friends and family around you, or it can be large, changing policy that affects our climate and biodiversity. But I really believe that everyone that has the ability, and everyone should have the ability, should try and have a positive impact on the planet while they're here. We only have one chance, really. And well, certainly within my belief system, we only have one chance. And so the time is now, we must act.
Dr. Niall, that brings a question that I would like to ask. When we started this event 4 years back, it was an offshoot of Corona times because we couldn't have physical conferences. It was difficult to get people around, and we started it all. And then we said we are going to run a 24-hour event because usually we have this planting day that occurred from one corner of the planet to the other corner of the planet. We ran this event, but it happened. And later on realized it's possible on this platform to try to bring youth and students in touch with real climate champions, which would be otherwise impossible. So again, thank you very much for being with us. But we often cite that the youth play a major role in environmental conservation, and they have a major role also in reversing the triple planetary crisis of climate, pollution, and biodiversity loss. But in practice, the support is very less. You either have to be influential youth or belong to an influential family or somehow to be picked up by bigger agencies. The policymakers have a problem. They can make policies, they can't implement them. Governments are short-sighted. And we know that people on the ground level, the NGOs, smaller ones, not the bigger ones, the youth, especially at young age, because they have the audacity to challenge anything, they have to be involved. Unfortunately, what has happened that not all youth change makers also reach down. Once they acquire the position, they're always going up. They're not looking down. For instance, even this event, when you try to get them on board, it's very difficult. Some of them are very supportive, they come. Because I believe then, like these two girls are interacting with you, maybe after this interview, they'll be lifelong supporters of conservation. So how do you think we can provide support? And how do you think it can be changed, or maybe majority of smaller people on ground level and more youth can be involved directly in the process?
Yeah, we just have to keep on engaging. Education's a big part of it, but engagement's more important. So I receive a lot of emails from students and young people around the world, and I respond to every single one. And I really think that people have got themselves into a position of influence, should take that influence seriously and see it as a responsibility. The types of people that feel responsible for the planet, I would hope, would also feel responsible for engaging the youth in planetary protection as well. So yeah, my challenge to everyone that's got themselves into a position of seniority is to not draw up the drawbridge after you. Keep it open for the next generation coming through. Keep engaging people. Go into schools. Go into universities. Spend time on the front lines with local wildlife groups, enthusing them. People need encouragement. People don't survive well in a vacuum. They need to have constant reinforcement that they're doing the right thing. And so those of us that can, we absolutely should spend as much time as we possibly can within our busy schedules, further engaging the youth in protecting the planet, because that's what we need. We need to keep people engaged. Every child is born with a love of the planet, every single one. At some point, most children become cynical and start doing things that are selfish and not outward thinking. What we need to try and do is break that connection somehow and make sure that adults still have the same enthusiasm for the world and the same spirit of collectivism that children do. That's a difficult thing to do, but we've got to try.
Yeah, and because of people like you, we are doing that, and we are very grateful. I'm also supportive of the UNEP because they also been in support, and I keep telling them that this is the platform you got to be outside the UNEP buildings and UN buildings, and this is the platform that you can actually make a lot of influence in the young people's lives. So thank you very much. Parvinder, you have a question again?
Yes. So you've mentioned several times that studying extinct species is your prioritized skill It is your love and passion. So how can we, as commoners, help these dying and disappearing species?
Um, well, I wouldn't consider yourself a commoner for starters, or if you are, then I would also consider myself a commoner, because we all start from very similar backgrounds. Just believe that you can do it yourself. Yeah, people like me, absolutely, it's great to have the support of people like you. And the simplest way to do things like that is to look for small charities and try and raise some funds or profile for those small charities that are operating on the front lines. But really, I think the best thing to do is to look at yourself and what can you do physically yourself. And yeah, believing that if you've seen someone else make a massive change in the world, you can do it too. If you've seen someone else go out and work in an amazing environment and make a difference to a species or a habitat, you can do it too. I think what's most important is that people believe in themselves, and that support could be remote or it could be in person. Both are very, very important.
So, I want to be an explorer and conservator. How do I go about it?
Yeah, well, simplest thing is to pick a place on the map that looks interesting and then go there. No, not much more difficult than that. So my early trips, early explorations were simply to places in the world that looked interesting to me. And then from a biological perspective, so when I was starting to study species, again, it was what am I interested in? I'm interested in giant otters. Where do they live? They live in the heart of the Amazon. So I've got to go there to try and find them. So whatever it is that fascinates you, that makes you passionate, that interests you, book your flights or book your bus ticket and go find it.
Sure, sir. That's the next thing I'll be doing now.
Fantastic.
So speaking of studying giant otters in the Amazon, you've led many remote jungle expeditions. So could you share how you faced and successfully overcame extreme minimalism and simplicity during these missions?
Yeah, I guess just being tolerant of change is really important. Lots of people get very used to a comfortable life, whatever that is. But I was always very tolerant of change. When I was young, I used to take it really quite seriously, and I would practice sleeping without a pillow, so that if ever I was in a situation where there wasn't a pillow, I would be used to it, or brushing my teeth without water, or all these other things. I don't know why I felt I needed to train for that type of stuff, but I did. And then just being accepting of whatever circumstance you find yourself in, I think is really important. Like we should be flexible, we should be accepting of these things. And that enables you to enjoy a much broader range of environments if you're not very particular about the types of situations that you're comfortable in. I simply find myself comfortable in more or less any kind of circumstance, and that's enabled me to enjoy being in these environments as opposed to just to tolerate it.
So also, as we've heard, India recently reintroduced cheetahs in its wildlife system, and they've been imported from Namibia and South Africa. Right. So do you think this method of reintroducing species can work out in non-native environments as well?
It's a good question. The wisdom of that introduction is yet to be determined, and whether it should have been wiser to have introduced them from Asian populations of cheetah rather than African populations of cheetah, only time will tell. I think humankind has to be really wary of interventions. We've made so many interventions that have backfired upon us that we have to be sure to do the right thing. Interventions absolutely can have an impact. Reintroductions can have a really positive impact on the environment, but we shouldn't be blind to the unintended consequences. So any such intervention should be really, really well thought out and not just done for clicks on your social media. And lots of organizations, lots of countries are all too enthusiastic to make those types of interventions because it will generate them some positive press, as opposed to something that will actually have a genuinely positive impact on their biodiversity.
Dr. Nial, I have an interesting question. Coming from a continent which lost almost all of its wildlife long way back, that's the European continent.
Where I
if you
live.
had to conserve wildlife habitat, you have to go to Africa, maybe Asia, something like that. So how challenging it was to first find wildlife in your own continent, and then maybe train yourself and learn these conservation techniques, and then travel towards Africa or Asian countries to be actively involved in it. Because I think
Yeah.
half of the life is spent in Zimbabwe.
I spend a lot of time in Zimbabwe now, and have previously spent a huge amount of time in Latin America and other places. And you're right, Britain in particular has a terrible record on conservation, lamentable record on conservation. That's slowly changing. There are some fantastic reintroductions happening, in particular, back to Baminder's question, and some other really excellent interventions that are trying to bring nature back to the UK. But it is difficult for a young British biologist to find the type of natural history in our own environment that inspires people. But you just need to look more closely. We don't have tigers, and we don't have gaur, and we don't have elephants or rhinos, but we do have badgers and red deer and hedgehogs and fabulous bird life. And so you can get enthusiastic and inspired by our own wildlife. One of the things that's interesting, Britain has a population that is massively engaged in conservation. Very, very interested. The Royal Society for the Protection of Birds is 3 million members out of a human population of 60 million. That's a very high percentage. 5% of the population is a paid member of a wildlife organization. That's massive. But we still have this terrible biodiversity ourselves, massively negative impact on our biodiversity through intensive agriculture and development, overuse of cars and all kinds of other things. So we do need to start focusing a lot more efforts on our own biodiversity as well as on foreign biodiversity. Britain is very, very good about exporting our conservationists and having a positive impact on biodiversity around the world. We need to do better at retaining some of that expertise and applying it to our own country too.
Sir, I would like to ask for your opinion that if we as responsible citizens work in the right direction, where do you see the world in the next 20 years in terms of human progress?
Yeah, fascinating question. I think difficult to define progress, but for me, the most important act of progress that we can perform is in what many people might say an act of regression. It's in giving something back to nature as opposed to just taking for ourselves. We have progressed so much by being relentlessly consumptive and always building things up for ourselves. And I think the most important way we can progress in the future is to start giving something back to the planet as well.
Sir, to end on a very light note, could I just ask you one thing?
Of course.
Out of all your adventurous experiences, cycling over the Himalayas, rowing the Atlantic Ocean, and skiing across Greenland, which one was your favorite and what enchanted you most about it?
Oh, really hard to say. Because again, favorite is difficult. Rowing the Atlantic was an astonishing thing. It was definitely the most challenging, and I feel I benefited the most from it in terms of personal development. But a lot of it was pretty unpleasant. You're constantly terrified. You're very uncomfortable. It's a really difficult thing to do. So it's difficult to define favorites. For me, the favorite expedition I've probably done was in 2014. I went out to eastern Greenland and spent about 2 weeks climbing and rock climbing and ice climbing, and then flying off the summits of mountains in eastern Greenland using a thing called a speedwing, which is a small paraglider. And I did that with my brother. And the reason that expedition was my favorite was not only because we were doing something that was almost continually enjoyable, but I was doing it with someone that was brilliant. And spending time with great people doing great things is what I'm all about. You can have wonderful experiences by yourself or despite the company, but it's nice to do these types of things with really good people. And so for me, that's probably the most special exhibition of all, because it was done with my brother, as well as doing something that was challenging and in an extraordinary landscape.
Okay, I think that's the end of all their little questions, and you've been very patient also. I must let you know that I'm also again grateful for Dr. Nial, because he's also one of our patrons for Act Now, and I remember sending a small email and he readily agreed even without looking left and right. And all our efforts are targeted towards young students like you across the world. When the event day, I hope to be reaching around 1 million students and youth across 113 or 15 countries. The only objective is that if some of you can turn into conservators, protectionists, and as Dr. Nial would say, we need people from all walks of life, because environment belongs to all of us. Rather, we belong to the environment that we live in. So thank you, Dr. Nial, so much for being here. I'm sure that this discussion, this interview will be remembered by at least these two students all their life. And wherever they are, whatever they do, they will always try to further the cause that we are trying to push them to. So thank you so much. We'll stay just for a second for a screenshot, and then we'll formally close this interview.
Thank you, sir, for spending your precious time with us.
Thank you for having me and asking such great questions.
Well, it was quite an interesting, impressive interview. And I see Rajiv sir has also joined.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you so much. And this is, we have just concluded our fifth session, that is 3 more to go. I see Dr. Ash is here. Dr. Ash, can I bring you on screen?
Good morning, Rajiv. And Dr. Ash Pachori is here. I'll request him video. We are not able to see sir's video.
Yes. So Sakshi, I hope everybody got an opportunity.
Yes, sir. It was an amazing session. Actually, I was just hoping to some of the students, they are still here and they have been, throughout the session. It was a great discussion also. After all the speeches, we had a general half-an-hour discussion and it was really informative and all the students, they performed really well. So I was really happy about the outcome that has come.
Okay. And in this session and in the remaining 3 sessions, we are going to have great guests joining. Dr. Ash Pachori, I'm sure that he is trying to join in again. And we will be soon followed by Dr. Norma from Mexico. Then we have some young climate activists, youth mentors from the pop movement. And obviously, every time 4 years back, every time we hosted this event, the first time we said, we have done it once and we are not going to do it again. The second year again, we said the same thing, third year again, and here we are into the 4th edition. And this session this year, it has been marked by maximum number of student participants who have made our day. And I couldn't believe it. And the way they have participated for 7 days, they've been preparing for this one, and it's really mind-boggling. So thank you, Sakshi, so much. And I hope everybody was awake and they were not sleeping off.
Not at all, sir. Actually, the participation was incredible. Honestly, I was a little skeptical whether they'll be able to make it through or not. But during the video presentation as well, they were all there and we were having a great discussion. So yeah, everything went well.
Great. We're still waiting for Dr. Ash. Maybe he has a bit of problem somewhere.
No, he's not there. I think maybe trying to some internet.
Meanwhile, can we start with playing off one of our theme videos? That is, JK sir, can I request you to play track number V4?
Stars. Imagine all the creatures living without plastic waste. No more plastic in our oceans. Our planet's beauty will embrace. Act now, let's a difference. Act now, make a difference. Be the change you want to see. Our planet's the
Hello and good evening, Dr. Ash. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but very faintly. But I just want to say I'm delighted to be here.
Dr. Ash, your voice is breaking up. I think it's a bit of connectivity issue.
Can you hear me at all?
It's breaking up. Your voice is breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Your voice is breaking up.
Rajiv ji?
Your voice is breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Dr. Ash, your voice is breaking up.
Can you hear me at all? Oh gosh.
Little bit now.
So let me see.
I think the issue is outside in the park.